I'm so happy for them. I don't know what
They smiled on red carpets, signed autographs like saints, and lit up the silver screen with legendary charm. But behind the scenes, some of Hollywood's most beloved stars were anything but polite. From verbal tirades that cleared out restaurants to dark secrets that haunted their families for generations, these celebrities built reputations not just for their talent, but for their shockingly rude behavior. You've heard the rumors. Now it's time to dive into the untold stories. This isn't about cancel culture or hearsay. This is the raw, unfiltered truth behind 10 of the rudest celebrities in Hollywood history. And trust me, some of them will genuinely surprise you. Bing Crosby. To the public, Bing Crosby was the charming crooner with a golden voice. But at home, his son Gary revealed a much darker reality. In his memoir Going My Own Way, Gary described their father as cold and violent, using a studded leather belt for punishment, even disciplining Gary for his brother's mistakes. And it didn't stop there. Housekeepers allegedly used the drowning treatment, dunking the kids in bathtubs for talking or waking up too early. The damage ran deep. 2 of Crosby's sons later took their own lives, and his icy demeanor extended beyond family. Despite starring in 7 films together, co-star Bob Hope reportedly detested him. Behind the smooth persona was a man whose behavior left lasting emotional scars. Milton Berle. Known as Uncle Milty, Milton Berle was one of TV's earliest stars, but behind the laughs was a man known for stealing jokes, clashing with colleagues, and refusing to share the spotlight. His reputation as the thief of bad gags followed him for decades, and in 1993, it all boiled over on live TV. During the MTV VMAs, drag icon RuPaul called him out on air. Their tension was so obvious, it made headlines. But Berle's worst moment came in 1979, when he hosted Saturday Night Live. He hijacked rehearsals, ignored the script, and shamelessly recycled dated material. The cast was furious. Creator Lorne Michaels banned him for life and tried to bury the episode, but years later, it resurfaced, exposing just how far Berle had fallen. Zsa Zsa Gabor. Zsa Zsa Gabor was the definition of old Hollywood glam, wealthy, witty, and always ready with a one-liner. But behind the diamonds and designer gowns was a trail of drama and damaged relationships. Her own daughter, Francesca Hilton, learned that the hard way. After proudly parading her child around at red carpets in early years, Zsa Zsa reportedly cut her off when Francesca stopped wearing makeup. Yes, makeup. Things only got worse after Francesca's father, hotel tycoon Conrad Hilton, died. Instead of inheriting the family fortune, she was left with just $100,000. A drop in the bucket compared to Hilton's empire. Francesca fought for more, but the legal battle drained her finances, and she ended up nearly penniless. Through it all, Zsa Zsa offered little help. Famous, yes. Fabulous, sure. But warm and compassionate, not exactly. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was the ultimate Hollywood heartthrob, charming, fearless, and the face of every adventurous blockbuster. But off-screen, his life was a whirlwind of scandal and controversy. In the 1940s, Flynn faced not 1, but 3 statutory assault trials. Though he was acquitted each time, the damage to his reputation was permanent, and the phrase, "in like Flynn," took on a much darker meaning. Later biographies accused him of everything from same-sex affairs to Nazi sympathies, though many of those claims were later debunked. Still, the rumors stuck, adding fuel to an already chaotic legacy. By the end of his life, Flynn's once dashing image had crumbled. He died at just 50, and the autopsy revealed a body so damaged, it resembled that of an 85-year-old man. Gene Kelly. On screen, Gene Kelly was elegance in motion, the smooth, smiling dancer who made musicals magical. But behind the scenes, his reputation was far less graceful. Sid Charisse, one of his most famous dance partners, would reportedly return home covered in bruises. Her husband didn't need to ask. He knew she'd been working with Kelly. And it wasn't just rough rehearsals. In the 1970s, rumors swirled that Kelly had secretly donated £20,000 to the IRA, allegedly saying, "This money is for guns." His widow later denied the claims, calling them completely false. But the story stuck, casting a shadow over his carefully polished image. Brilliant, absolutely. But according to those who worked with him, Kelly's perfectionism often turned sets into pressure cookers, with him at the boiling point. John Wayne. John Wayne was the face of American toughness, the rugged cowboy who never backed down. But when he wasn't on horseback, his views were often more shocking than his roles. In a 1971 Playboy interview, Wayne openly declared his belief in white supremacy, saying black Americans shouldn't hold public office until they were, in his words, educated to a point of responsibility. And that wasn't all. He also slammed LGBTQ films as perverse and disgusting, making no effort to hide his disdain. Strangely, despite those views, he maintained a close friendship with Rock Hudson, one of the few openly gay stars of the time. But the contradictions didn't soften his image. Decades later, students still walk out of film classes when his movies play, and there have been public calls to remove his name from the Orange County Airport. His legacy as a screen legend is secure, but the opinions he voiced still leave a bitter aftertaste. Bette Davis. Bette Davis was a force of nature, fierce, talented, and unapologetically blunt. But her fiery personality often left a trail of chaos in its wake. One infamous incident happened at a restaurant, where director Herschel Doherty made the mistake of wagging his finger in her face. Davis exploded, unleashing a verbal tirade so intense it cleared out half the dining room, and then she calmly returned to her meal like nothing happened. On set, the tension was just as sharp. During filming, she frequently rinsed her eyes between scenes to deal with harsh lighting. But someone reportedly used that routine as a chance to poison her eyewash. The culprit was never found, but when the director joked that if he lined up the entire crew and asked who wanted her gone, half would raise their hands. No one disagreed. Davis didn't just play strong women, she was one. But working with her meant being ready for war. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney was once Hollywood's boy wonder. Charming, energetic, and seemingly unstoppable. But behind that wholesome image was a man who thrived on chaos. With 8 marriages and countless affairs, Rooney treated relationships like revolving doors. In his own memoir, he bragged about brothel visits, detailed inappropriate stories, and outed close friends for deeply personal secrets, including Judy Garland. One of the most disturbing claims, that he had a relationship with 14-year-old Elizabeth Taylor during National Velvet, when he was 24. While many have disputed the story, the rumor alone stained his reputation. And in his later years, Hollywood insiders described him as abrasive, unpredictable, and deeply inappropriate. On screen, he played the lovable guy next door. But off-screen, he left behind a trail of broken trust, wild stories, and a legacy clouded in controversy. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford wasn't just a movie star, she was a master of revenge. Her long-running feud with Bette Davis is the stuff of Hollywood legend. During the filming of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, the tension was so intense, Davis reportedly tried to have Crawford fired. When that didn't work, the rivalry only escalated. After Davis got an Oscar nomination and Crawford didn't, Joan pulled a move straight out of a soap opera. She arranged to accept the award on behalf of the actual winner, just to steal Davis's spotlight. But her coldness didn't stop at professional jealousy. In 1978, her adopted daughter Christina released Mommy Dearest, a brutal memoir that accused Crawford of emotional and physical abuse, obsessive control, and adopting children as mere PR props. While some family members defended her, the book cemented Crawford's image as a controlling, unstable figure. Even in death, the drama continued. She left behind a multi-million-dollar estate, but specifically disinherited Christina and her brother, leaving them with nothing. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin may have been the king of silent film, but the stories about his off-screen behavior speak volumes. Widely hailed as a comedic genius, Chaplin also had a reputation for being controlling, harsh, and emotionally abusive. Former crew members described his sets as tense and joyless, with Chaplin frequently firing people for minor slip-ups and erupting into rants when things didn't go his way. His personal life was just as messy. He married multiple times, often to teenage girls, including a 16-year-old and later an 18-year-old when he was 54. His relationships were marked by power imbalances, infidelity, and emotional manipulation, according to several of his ex-wives. Even his longest-lasting marriage, to Una O'Neill, caused a scandal and a permanent rift with her father, playwright Eugene O'Neill. Chaplin's contributions to film are undeniable. But behind the iconic mustache and slapstick brilliance was a man whose actions cast a long, troubling shadow over his legacy. They made history on screen, but off-screen, they left a trail of controversy, conflict, and damaged reputations. Whether it was abuse, arrogance, or shocking betrayals, these stars proved that fame doesn't always equal grace. So, who do you think was the rudest celebrity in Hollywood history? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold stories from behind the red carpet.